Hi, today we're going to work on making some tassels for a balloon setup that's coming up. I'm going to be using red and white tissue paper, scissors, a staple, and ribbon. This ribbon is actually kind of thin. It's better that you use a 7/8 inch ribbon. It's made out of like a polyester material. It's wider and it'll be easier to use. Also, make sure it doesn't have wiring. So first we're going to take our sheet of tissue paper. It can be folded either way, the long way or the short way, depending on how long you want your tassels to be. Then you're going to find your crease, line them up, use 8 sheets of tissue paper all together. I'm just using red and white because that's what's going with my setup, but you can use different colors. Also, you can use gold or silver filler paper as well, and tissue paper with patterns. Turns out really pretty. But for today, we're just using red and white. Fold your tissue paper in half. Make sure that crease is good. Line them up as close as possible. Then take your ribbon and place it along the center of the fold. You want to have at least 2 inches of ribbon extending from each side of the tissue paper. You're going to take your stapler and staple the ribbon onto the tissue paper all the way through, as close to the edge as you can, but making sure that the staple is completely in the tissue paper. That makes sense. Make sure your ribbon is flat and proceed to do the same on the opposite side. Fold your tissue paper over. Make sure that you feel for the ribbon. Make sure it's as close to that crease on the inside as possible and that the ribbon is flat. Stapler and proceed to staple along the ribbon and the tissue paper, and make sure that it goes all the way through and that the staple is completely flat. You don't want any of the ends sticking out because they can, potentially pop the balloons. You want to position the staples probably about an inch and a half apart. Make sure you go all the way to the end, but do not staple past the edge of the ribbon and tissue paper. Now, if you open it up, you should see that the tissue paper is securely stapled to the ribbon. The ribbon will not move. The tissue paper will not move. Get your scissors and start making approximately half inch slits up to the ribbon, but do not cut through the ribbon. Stop just below the ribbon, but go all the way to as close to the top as possible without cutting the ribbon. I'm just flipping the strips over just to keep them out of the way. This does not have to be perfect. You don't want to go too fast though. You want to make sure you completely cut through each strip. And the thinner the strip, the better. You get a fuller tassel in the end. I know some people that I've seen, they make their strips about 1 inch wide, but 1/2 inch or a little narrower gives you a nice full tassel. Take the ends of your ribbon and give the tassel a good shake. This is gonna start separating some of the strips and making it nice and full. You don't have to worry, it's not gonna come loose. Those staples are gonna do a good job of holding everything together. But give it a good shake. You may have to do this again once you get to the setup. Just depends on how full you want your tassel to be. Out of all of the tutorials that I watched on how to make the tassel, I've seen how they attach it to a helium balloon that just has the ribbon hanging down, and but I've never seen anyone demonstrate how to attach the tassel to an actual lamp stand. So what I decided to do was take the ribbon and use duct tape. I cut it into a narrow strip, and I'm going to actually attach it right underneath the balloon, the bottom balloon. Take the duct tape and wrap it completely around the pole, attaching the ribbon to the pole. And I used a few strips on the top, and then I also did the same thing for the ribbon that was hanging at the bottom of the tassel on the other end. 2 inches or 2 strips of thin duct tape to wrap around and attach it to the pole. And then once you're done, you just kind of fluff it a little more to make sure you're hiding the pole. I believe you can also use 260 balloons to attach it. Just make sure whatever you go with that it is secure, because you don't want that tassel to slide down after you have to maybe move the column and put it in different places. You want to make sure everything is intact and it stays nice for your setup. I'm sorry that I'm blocking, but I was working in a small room putting the columns together, but I'm just cutting the other strip of the duct tape to add to the bottom of that tassel and attach it together. Attach it to the pole. And that's how I decided to attach my tassel. It came out great. Please let me know if you use other means to do this. We have to think on the fly a lot of times when we're doing these setups, and you have to have alternatives to maybe your original plan. Once you get on the venue set up, you may have to make some changes. You may have to pivot on the fly. And this is what I decided to do. So please like, comment, and share, and be on the lookout for more tutorials. And again, let me know how you attach your tassels to your balloon stands. Have a good day.